Good morning, everyone. So as I've been kind of feeling around putting out little videos or making mention of the videos, I was thinking about doing a traveler's notebook or journal or flow book or however you want to use this swap. And I've gotten a lot of interest, so which is really great. A lot of people say they've never done it before. They'd be interested in learning how to make one, or they have all the items for it, but they just haven't made one yet. Or other people are like, oh yeah, I'm on board. Let's do this, And so I am a little bit nervous about it. It took me a little while to kind of figure out what I want to do. I don't want people to say or to feel like, oh, it has to be like this. But I'll tell you why I have guidelines in just a minute. But any of the items, I'm going to also kind of do a quick tutorial in this video, even though I did a tutorial recently on making a laminated journal. It's a little bit different. It only has like two inserts, so it's a little bit thinner, smaller. This is going to be a B6 size swap. So any links I have in the description box would be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you ever purchase any of the items through those links. I'll include items that will help you complete it. This is going to have kind of a quick turnaround because I don't really want to leave it open for too long. So if there's some things that you don't have yet that you want to order, it might not come in, but I think most of the things I'll link are probably going to be like to Amazon, something where I know it's going to come to you quicker, right? But whatever works out. So really quickly, if you're not familiar, this is kind of what I'm envisioning here. This is what you would call a journal, traveler's notebook, however you want to do it. Unfortunately, I made this one yesterday, and I put a hole where it doesn't need one, so I'm gonna put something there because I figured I was gonna give this to my niece. She loves like little animals, and I think this is right up her alley. And she's like 20 something now, 21 or 22. I'm sure she'll find it cute. So I put her name on here with beads, and we'll talk about those kind of things in a minute. I put a little charm here just to stay wild at heart. This little kind of AB looking clippy, but let me just show you the meat and potatoes of this, right? So we have a little notebook that I made with actually sketch paper. I wanted it to be a little bit thicker than copy paper. You can use copy paper, so I made that. What they call a dashboard, or however you want to use this. I also built in a pen loop, and we'll talk about that in a minute because there are tons of videos out on this subject. However you want to do it, there's specific things I want to be in place though. So you have to make something like this, which would be your dashboard. I would like for you guys to have a bookmark in there. This one's a little bit wider than I think we need, but what I'm going to do is wrap washi tape on this, so that'll be your washi sample, so people can put washi in their book, in their journal, but it'll be on here. Another book, this one has graph paper, but you can just do all, lined paper, all, white paper. It doesn't matter, all type of paper. It needs to have 3 inserts though. This one happens to have a folder, and I'll show you a different way of doing this. This was super basic, and I like it looks like the folders my kids get, and what inspired this is that at the beginning of the school year, my kids always get a folder for their little work, and it's always laminated. And what they do at school, because at the school they have a huge laminating machine, they laminate it and then they slit it. They don't, and it lasts the whole year. So their lamination stuff is a little bit thin. You know how it's kind of like a thinner material, but either way. So this is not laminated. If you want to laminate it, that's up to you. But we'll talk about all this in just a minute. And then one more notebook or insert. And I have some notes on here because I might do a review of different laminating pockets. And this happens to be Fellows 3 mil ones from Amazon. Super cheap. I think they were around $9 for 100 of them. I had seen the same ones, the Fellows ones at Staples, and I was going to buy them, but then they kind of weren't on sale. They were $30. $30 for the exact same ones. So yeah, Amazon has them for a much better price. And then I have some information on how I made the cover here. So those are the basic things that would be in here. So let's get back to the swap itself. As you can see, I have some notes. I have tons of notes. A theme, I still don't even have a theme because I was like, I don't know. So I think the theme is going to be summer, however you want to interpret that. And I hate to say summer because I know it's going to be like beachy or like palms and stuff like that. You don't have to stick to those things. I mean, floral, soft colors. I mean, even my nails are supposed to be retro vibes, right? Summer retro vibes or retro summer. And they're grays and pinks, whatever you think fits for summer. Just because we're going into summer, I was going to do like spring and summer, but spring, if you want to do florals, however you want to interpret it, but kind of make it related to summer, or at least that feel, okay? And that way everyone has, we're on the same page as far as the theme. I could just left it open, but then it's just going to be anything, and I think for the first one, people may want a little bit more guidelines. So the theme is going to be summer. Like I said, whatever you think that is, however you want to interpret it, that's fine. Now, this is a B6 journal. That means it's 5 by 7. I'm going to go over everything. I'm basically going to show you exactly what I would expect from the cover and stuff. It does need to be laminated just so that everyone has the same kind of thing. I know one of my gals said maybe she'll take it down to FedEx, however it is, or if you want to purchase a laminating machine, if you already have one. If you have a mink laminates. Obviously, you need the bigger mink. I think this, no, actually, let me see. I was gonna say maybe the width of this fits in here. Nope, it does not. Okay, so that's the regular, the smaller mink. I think there's a bigger one, right? Laminators aren't super expensive, but like I said, if you want to just kind of check it out this time around and sit this time out and join next time, I'm sure if I don't want to do this monthly because that's kind of a thing. I mean, this kind of thing every month kind of seems like a lot, but then quarterly seems like too long. We'll see how it goes. So. Sorry, this is, I've been thinking about the last, like, literally week how I'm going to do this, so I have a bunch of things in my head. So, the signups are going to start today, which is Sunday. So, sign up Sunday today, the 6th. And then signups are going to end on June 11th. I'll have my email is not the same email I give out for other things. It's VianneyCreates swaps at yahoo.com. So I'll have that in the description box. People always ask me how to get in the description box. You can click on the title. You can click a little arrow that's next to the title, a little triangle. It should open up, or click on the words that say show more. It'll open up the description box. And that's with anybody's YouTube video. If they have links or more information, it's in the description box, and that's how you find it. Depends on what you're using, I guess, but it's under the title. Like, it'll open up. I use signups to end by June 11th. I know that's basically a week. Because most of the time people sign up really early on, and that's great. And then I want people to send in your item or your project by June 19th. That means have it in the mail by June 19th. Now, let's say you sign up today and you get it done today because, this only takes like an hour or so. Depends. Get it in the mail. Just get it in the mail. I'll respond with a whole write-up on, the guidelines and then sizing and all that stuff, and then all the information that you need. But basically, I'm going to talk about that all here in this video, okay? So that's that. So as far as, again, what I'm expecting, and that way everybody has the same thing. I don't want, people to say, oh, she has to have it this way. It has to be laminated. Well, yeah, it has to be laminated so it's durable. It's cute. This is a 3 mil laminate, and that's what I like. If you want to use a stiffer lamination sheet, like a 5, go for it. When you go to crease things, it might pop a little bit. It might delaminate a little bit. We'll talk about that in just a minute. So that's why I like the thinner, but if you like the thicker one, use the thicker one. However you like to do this, okay? As far as that. So there's some things where you have, free reign, but there's things that I need it to be standard for everybody. So we'll talk about sizing and all that in just a minute. So again, it has to have 3 inserts. Okay, so 3 booklets, however you want to make them, whatever papers you want to put inside, that's fine. 1 type of folder. So this is a folder right here. I'm going to show you how to make another one that is like an accordion folder. But this is more basic. If you want to laminate this too, that's great. If you don't, I think just laminate adds an extra challenge, so you don't have to. I totally forgot to corner round this. That's why everything in here is not corner rounded, but I like the look of corner rounding. If you want to corner round, do it. If you don't, don't. Okay, so that's that. The bookmark with a washi. Like I said, this kind of thing. I still need to put my little ribbon on this. And then your dashboard with or without a pen loop. This doesn't matter. I just came up with an easy way to do this, and I think that's pretty good. So I think if you want to add it, it's very simple to do. So your dashboard should be laminated. Of course, the bookmark is going to be laminated too because you're going to put washi on there. I guess it doesn't matter, but it looks better and it feels nicer if it's laminated. This thing should be laminated, and this is just a sticker I stuck on top. It's kind of like a thicker sticker, and now it peeks out the top here. And then it has a pen loop. You can add embellishments on here. You want to put some sticky notes. That's up to you. This is just a thing that you use to just put it wherever you want. Bookmark's a little bit different. And then at least have 3 types of embellishments in here. If you want to add pockets, I did not do that because that's an extra challenge. But if you are good at that and you want to put a pocket in here and you want to cut into it, we'll talk about that in a minute when we construct this. That's up to you. I think I'm going to make a library pocket, so I'll show you guys how to make that from hand. And then let me write that down actually. So when I mean 3 embellishments, like added maybe some stickers, add some rhinestones, put them in here or wherever you need. If you have pockets, put them there. And then some kind of embellishment for the outside, like here on this one I have her little name and stuff with this little charm or embellishment, however you want to do it. If you want to add beads, a couple beads on here, that's great. If you want to stick it on here with a lobster like this. If you don't have beads, don't worry about it. Just add some ribbon, maybe on like a paper clip, some kind of extra embellishment for the outside, okay? So whatever that is, whatever you think that is, that's up to you. So we'll talk more about that in a minute. But we are going to get to talking about the sizing and actually laminating and all that. But let me write this down before I forget library pocket. Oh, we do want to show you what I did with this, because I thought it was pretty genius. And then I went to a local dollar store, not even the Dollar Tree, a different one. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they had black Velcro. And that's exactly what I was wanting, because I know at the Dollar Tree there it's white, and that's fine. But since this was black, I'm like, this is so cool. So all I did was add those pieces so people can adjust if they need their pen to be smaller or tighter, however. But for me, this was fine. And then your pen fits in there. And like I said, you can adjust it if you need to. So I thought that was fun. I know some people use like a clippy. However you want to do that, you do not have to include a pen, okay? Because it's not really about the pen, it's about everything else. So don't feel like you have to include a pen with this. What I'm gonna do is grab my papers and we'll get started. I hope you guys are excited about it. I mean, like I said, I have guidelines, and the reason I was really nervous about doing this is because I used to do glitter swaps, like for nails and other kind of swaps, and it never fails. Someone does, a few people do something way outside of what was in the guidelines. So please stick to the guidelines, the sizing, everything. Because, you know, someone might make a tiny book or a longer one or whatever. Let's make them B6. They're all going to be B6. And then what's going to happen is you'll send them in. And this is the first time I do it this way. Well, for something like this, like something big. Otherwise, I can just exchange your names and then you guys just send them to each other. But then maybe some people make videos, some people don't. So you're going to send them to me, to my P.O. box. And I'll do a reveal, you know, I'll show them, you know, on a video, obviously probably a live video. And then in that same video, I'll have a bowl with everybody's names in it. And I'm just going to draw two names. Those two are swapping out. I'll switch your guys' journals and send them out to each other. Does that make sense? So that way it's fair, it's random, and whoever gets whatever, I just draw two names at a time, and those are the swap partners. Now that would mean that you're gonna have to pay for the return shipping. This fits in a small flat rate box. I'm not gonna do it any other way, guys. I'm sorry, because I know sometimes before people are like, well, can you go? And I would have to go to the post office, and I had to get it weighed, and then I had to email them that it's this much, and then they would PayPal me. We're not gonna do any of that, okay? It's gonna be standard and easy, and I know it costs like $8.80 something, I think, for a flat rate small box. So just to know that, however you want to send it in, that's fine. Obviously you package it up, you send it in, obviously you want it to arrive safely. It's going to go back in a small flat rate priority box that you're going to have to pay with PayPal. And then you're not supposed to send money in the mail, but you know, we can overlook that. Or some other way, right? But either way, the postage needs to be paid, and then I'll just put it in a small flat rate box and send it right back. You'll get your swap, okay? So I hope that answers that question. But that'll all be written up in the actual sign up info that I'll send you if you sign up, if you email to sign up, okay? So let me grab some paper and we will get started. Okay, guys. I have all my little iterations of different measurements and how I tried different things out. That's why I have a few different books here. So real quickly, laminating sheets. They come in standard A2 size. At Daiso, I get them in A4, which is really nice because I can make my papers wider or longer. But generally, you're going to find A2 size. They do have legal letter size, which are going to be like 14 inches, but we don't need that. You just need a standard A2 size sheet. This project will require 2, maybe more if you want to laminate everything, but I'm not going to laminate the folder. It depends which folder you choose to make. I'm going to show you a couple of them. And oh gosh, I just want to get into it. So this is going to be fun. I just want to be very clear, hopefully. So you just need that. Actually, this is going to go this way. So this is going to be my cover for my actual notebook. Now, I'm going to make 3 score lines on this. You don't have to. Some people like to keep this flat, like this middle one out. So you don't make that score line, you just make the other 2 score lines, okay? The other things you're gonna need are, you know, hole punches that actually will get in here. If you're gonna use an awl, I would recommend punching it from the outside, pushing it in, because it's gonna like make like a little explosion, right? The paper's gonna tear. You don't want that facing out, so do it from the nice side to the back side. I'm gonna use a crocodile because that's what I prefer. And then you need some elastic. This is 2mm, I believe. This one's from Hobby Lobby, but I'll have some links for some other elastic that I picked up. But like I said, hopefully you have these things so you can get going. But if not, you have basically 2 weeks to do it. And it works up really quickly. Obviously, you're gonna see that right now. So for our cover, I have all the measurements for everything else. I'm going to show you to make a cover. I'm going to show you how to make an insert, how to make 2 different folders, the bookmark, and the dashboard part of it, okay? So those are the basic things. Again, it'll be all written up. I'll also email you the written instructions, okay? So let's get started with the cover. I am going to max out that A2 size film pouch. So it usually is a little bit like 9 inches wide. About like 11.5, because basically they want to give you a 1/4 inch all around for a standard A2 size piece of paper. So this is cut at 7 1/4 because I just want it just bigger than 5 by 7, so we have a lip around the whole area that protects the inside of your book. So hopefully you can kind of see that here. There's some area here where it's protecting, the books are down in there, okay? And then as you start filling it up, it's going to get chubbier and it's going to be less and less, but that's okay. So 11 1/4 wide. So 7 1/4 by 11 1/4. I'm running out of space here because I have all these papers next to me. Let me put this over here. I'm going to keep referring back to that book in a minute. So let me grab. This is super easy, I'm telling you. I think the trickiest thing is just making sure you get a good lamination, and it's really easy. So again, 7 1/4 by 11 1/4. I'm going to score it, and you can score it on either side. I'm going to score it on the back side, I think. Just because when I score things, I like to score it this way and then fold it towards that. So if I do it this way, it's going to be backwards. Either way, I'm going to train it to go both ways because it just makes for an easier, I think, lamination if it's really loose, but that's just my opinion. Okay, first score line is going to be a 5 1/8. I know that's tricky for some folk, but if you don't have eighths marks on your scoreboard, just get your ruler and mark it, you know. Let's say I said, okay, 5 1/8, I'll put a little mark and then bring it to your scoreboard and just line it up somewhere on your scoreboard so you can still get a nice even line, okay? So 5 1/8. If you don't want to do the middle one, if you just want a nice straight back on your journal, don't do this next score, but you want to do 5 5/8. So just over 5 1/2. It's 5 5/8. What this does is it maximizes that pouch and it gives you a whole inch in the spine. Otherwise, if you cut it at 11, your spine is only going to have the very smallest amount of space, basically 3/8 of an inch. But that little half inch, that little extra 1/8 of an inch in there helps out. The next one is 6 1/8. And that's it, guys. So again, 7 1/4 inches tall, 11 1/4 inches wide. We're going to score it at 5 1/8, 5 5/8, and 6 1/8. Okay? And I like to give it a score now. Some people say they find it laminates better if you don't score it afterwards. I don't know about that, because what happens with lamination is it's nice and stiff. When you go to score it, it's gonna pop, and that little pop, you know, where it actually gets in there, it's very possible that your lamination is gonna come away from your paper. So I always score it, and you saw I folded it both ways. So this is gonna be nice and loose. If you want to put more lines, that's up to you. Some people like to put more just so that it looks more like a rounded spine. But when you do that, that's also just more chances that your lamination's gonna pop. So for me, the 3 lines is perfect. If you just want to do the 2 at 5 1/8 and 6 1/8 and leave that back spine nice and straight, it's probably better if you're brand new at doing this that you do that. Just because less chance of your lamination popping open. And if it does pop open, guess what? You can just run it through again. So don't worry, we'll talk about that in a minute. I'll show you what happened with one of mine. And it got taken care of real easy. So again, I'm just scoring them forward and back. We're gonna laminate it like this, but it's nice to have it trained and ready to go, okay? That's my cover. I am not gonna forget to corner round. If you don't want to corner round, that's fine. You are going to have to corner around the plastic, though, the lamination, or else people are going to get cut because it's very sharp, you know. So I'm going to use my 1/2 inch corner rounder. And I usually like to corner around from the side that I like, so from the pretty side. So I'm going to go around. And this video is going to be very long. Corner round, corner round, corner round. And we're basically going to go corner round happy with everything. Okay. This is ready to go. I'm just going to put it to the side. I'm not going to make holes in it right now. If you want to design this on your design space, you're scan and cut, whatever, and that's fine. Some people design it already with the holes cut into it. go ahead, but you're gonna still pop the holes again anyway when you laminate, so I'm not gonna do that. I just do it all at once because I have a crocodile. If you don't have a crocodile, then you might want to make holes now and then holes afterwards too, I don't know. Okay, so that's that one. The next thing we really need the scoring board for is the inserts. Now you can buy inserts already made. I didn't want you guys to have to go buy things other than like if you have to pick up a laminator, right? So, you know, use the paper you have. I didn't even know to tell you what stack this is because I'm just like, my head is, this is from Michael's Craftsmith. It's called Mermaid Coast. I'm going to make my own inserts, and some are going to be, again, the sketch paper, and some are going to be grid paper, and it's all going to be cut the same. So I'm going to do one in this video, but you want 3 of them, okay? You have to have 3 in your project, however you want to mix them up. So for this one, it's 10 1/4 by 7. So it's going to make a 5 by 7. The reason I have 10 1/4 is because when you fold this and you fold all those papers and get them in there, they are going to squish out. So I want this to be a little bit bigger than 5 by 7 when I actually go to fold it. Now you can just fold it like this, or you can score it. I guess I'll score it. Basically, you're going to score at 5 1/8 because it's 10 1/4, and you're just going to fold it in half. But again, it depends on your paper. Double-sided paper is much prettier. I do not have a lot of double-sided paper, I realized. So, and I really wanted to use this paper, so you can add another piece of paper in the back. It's going to make it thicker. The lamination might be a little more tricky, but, you know, that's up to you. And what I mean by that is, like, if you want to add a paper on this side to have paper on both sides, especially, like, on your cover. But I'm not worrying about it. I'm not going to add any pockets to this. If you want to add pockets, you like to do that, go ahead. Some people would put, like, you know, I'm just going to grab a piece of paper, but, like, let's say you made a pocket out of this paper, you would just glue around those little edges and then laminate all together and then cut in here, and it'll release the pocket. So it's not gonna be laminated behind it, obviously, but it's still cool. You know, it's a cool thing to do. I'm gonna make library pockets, so I'm not gonna mess with that. But you can do whatever you want. As far as that, I just want the guidelines are the sizing and the amount of things that go in it. Everything else is extra, and you can do whatever you like, however you like. But you know, definitely make the cover exactly how I stated there, and our covers, and then you can make your inserts however you like I said, buy them, whatever, but they need to be 5 by 7 inserts, okay? So, so now it's 5 1/8, and I'm just gonna grab some papers. Where is my stuff? I'm telling you, I was doing some of this stuff last night, and then I left things probably not where I need them to be. Let me grab the paper that's gonna go inside of there, and I'll be right back. Let me put some of these things to the side. So I have this little paper, and it's kind of interesting paper. It's 8 by 11, but either way, and it's kind of thicker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's do 7 sheets. I honestly don't remember how many I put in the other one, but this stuff is thicker. You know, do between 7 and 10 sheets at least. So when you fold it in half, you have 14 to 20 actual pages, right? I'm just going to take my guillotine. I don't know if it's going to be able to cut through all of this. But for the inside, again, I'm going to cut it at 7 because the height doesn't matter. The height's not going to change, you know, when you put it in your little cover. What's going to change is the width of it. So we're going to cut these a little bit smaller than 10 inches. So this is the insert for the notebooks. Again, this could be lined paper. It could be something you already purchased that's already 5 by 7. That's fine. Oh, sorry, guys. Whew. I was going to bring out my Tim Holtz guillotine, but I want to review it before I actually use it. So, okay. So instead of doing this by 10, right, we did the cover 10 1/4. Even 10 is still going to stick out. So I'm just going to go like 9 3/4. Because of this paper's thicker. You know, you can test it. You can go ahead and do 10, fold it, and then trim off whatever kind of sticks out if you want. Do however you like. I'm just showing you kind of what I noticed. So I did 9 3/4, which seems like, oh, that's a lot smaller, but it really is not. And I'm just going to fold these in half. I'm going to put my nails there to kind of keep it steady. Like a little fruit fly around here. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. And there we go. So I will give a little bit of bone folding. Now let's bring our cover back. It might be that I still need to make some adjustments, but you know, that's fine. Oh, much better. I even have a little bit of extra in my cover, which is great because yesterday I was cutting and cutting and cutting. So 9 3/4 might have been a little bit overkill. So maybe 9 7/8, you know, but you just don't want everything sticking out. And you can also trim this down if you don't like this sticking out, you know, we can trim it down. I just didn't want to have too little. Okay. And then you can open up your signature. You can put 3 holes in it. You can sew it if you want. You know, just tie it real quick. You don't have to tie it at all. You can put it right in your book just like this and it won't fall apart. I'm going to use my little stapler and hopefully it's ready to go because it's a little Daiso stapler. She's kind of finicky. And this one turns. I know some people use like long arm staplers. You don't have to buy any of that fancy stuff. Some people actually just make holes with the staple, knowing the staple is like a 1/2 inch, so they poke a hole, and then they take the staple itself and just do it manually and close it up. However you want to do it. I'm going to staple it this time from the outside because this is not my own journal. I'm going to send it off, obviously, in the swap. For me, I stapled it from the inside out because I think it's better if the staple rough edge was on the outside to not mess with the elastic, but however you want to do it. I'm just going to pop that in there. And on the other side, is it ready to go? Sometimes it goes and sometimes I have to like mess with it. So let's see if, nope. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna get this next one. I don't know why it does this. I have to like open it up and do all this stuff and finagle it and get the staple in the right spot, make sure it's reset for the staple, and then I can staple it. So I'll do this other one and I'll be right back. I don't know why it does that, and then I have to just finagle it. You know why it does it? Because it was $1.50. That's why it does it. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to make 3 of these. 2 of them are going to be plain like this, and 2 are going to be with the grid, one with the grid paper, sorry. And then I am going to trim a little bit of this away just because I did such a good job this time. Last time, I'm telling you, I was fighting with this thing so much. And if you do this, be very careful because when you open it up, the paper kind of recedes back to where it wants to be, but you do want to just take the smallest amount off. This is what I'm saying. As it folds, the paper comes forward. Hopefully you can see that. And then you open it up. Oh, look. Now we have all this paper because the paper recedes back. So don't count on that when you lay it down and say, oh, I'll just cut it back, because then you just got that. See there? And then when you close it, it comes forward. Okay, perfect. So I will make 3 of these. I already have 1. I'll need 2 more. The next thing, I did not laminate these. You don't have to laminate. I wouldn't laminate these, to be honest. And like I said, you can stick the cover on it. You don't have to stick the cover on it, however you want to do that. So again, 3 of those. Before I completely move on, I'm going to corner around these. I was already talking about something else, so that edit might be a little bit rough. Sorry. I'm telling you, I forget sometimes. So what's nice about the corner chomper is that it'll bite through chipboard even. So just go around all the corners and corner around, and you'll have a nice rounded corners. So we have our cover. We have those 3. The other thing we're going to laminate is our dashboard, and this paper is for the dashboard. And again, the dashboard, if you're not familiar, is something like this. Whatever you like. On this one, I wouldn't be too scared of putting like 2 pieces of paper, to be honest. And you know what, maybe I will do that. Yeah, I'll do that for this one. And I'll do it for the bookmark too. So let me cut 2 more pieces of paper, but I'll tell you what, these are basically all going to be done at the same time. The dashboard is 5 by 6 3/4. I made it a little bit short just because we are going to laminate it. I left it at 5 inches wide because I want it to stick out a little bit because it's going to have the pen holder. So 5 by 6 3/4. And then my bookmark is 2.5 by 6 3/4. And then you need, or you don't need it, but if you're going to use the tab like I did, you need a piece of paper. And so I just cut this little piece of paper by 1 inch by 3 3/4. So right here, or 3.5. It doesn't really matter. You just need some length because you're going to stick it to the back and then bring it around the front however you want. So 1 inch by 3.5, 3 3/4. And I'm going to cut 2 more pieces of paper to back these up, and I'll be right back. So I do have front and back, just because my paper is only single-sided. It'll be feeling more sturdy too. And on these, I don't mind using 5mm paper or laminating pouches if you have them. For the cover, I really want 3 because it just makes it easier to score and bend and fold and all that. But, you know, if you only have 5, go for it. It's not going to hurt anything. I'm going to use my ATG, but if you want to glue them, just make sure it's nice and dry before you try to put it through your laminator and all that. So, and what's scary about ATG is that where you place it, it is going to be. So you have to be very careful when you go to line things up. I guess I could trim it down if it's off, but not too bad. You saw I left that whole middle area without glue. You can stick some more ATG there if you want to, but however. We are going to corner around our dashboard. And I suppose if you wanted to, since I did double-sided, I could have buried this inside of there. But I kind of like the look of it coming off the back like this. So I'm not going to do that. But you could have stuck that in between there just to give it a little more oomph. And then we're going to corner around. So again, this is the dashboard. And 5 by 6 3/4, double-sided or not, however you want to do that. And then my little tag is 1 by 3 1/2 or 1 by 3 3/4. Just need some extra oomph there. And then our bookmark that holds a washi again is 2 1/2 by 6 3/4. Now those numbers I came up with, yours doesn't have to be 2 1/2 by 6 3/4. It can be whatever you want. I just say you have to have a bookmark with washi, okay? That's the rule there. Basically the one that we really want to pay attention to is the actual size of the whole thing. Okay. So I'm going to back this up with this paper. Again, a little bit scary. And I'm going to corner around this too. And this I'm going to put a hole in it to put some ribbon, but I will do that again after it's laminated. I just prefer to do everything afterwards. That's pretty good. I'm probably going to trim off this little edge that's a little bit off on my guillotine. I'm trying to think what else we have to laminate. Whatever you have to laminate, do it all at once. So I will be right back. There's a few little items that I want to laminate. So a bunch of random things like in this paper pack, and I want to get to this. It's impossible to waste time at the beach, and then I want Mermaid Off Duty, but you see they're like, the way this paper is cut is kind of crazy. So I'm going to take this corner off. I guess I'm just going to have to cut by hand to get there, which is kind of a pain. But if your paper pack has cute things like this and you want to laminate them, go for it, because it just makes it that much cuter. And then all these little pieces you can also put in as just little pieces that can go in to your pockets and all that. So I'm definitely going to trim this. Actually, what I'm going to do next is trim this away, and then I'm going to trim this off, and I'll get to cutting my little pieces out, okay? So I have some pieces cut. Like, I'm probably going to laminate this one. I'm not going to laminate everything, but whatever I think makes sense, just for funsies. If you have something smaller that you want to maybe put on a little charm, you can do that too. So we have pretty much everything. I did cut this off, and I kind of want to stick this on here, so I'm going to do that. And you know what? I'll just trim it off when I'm done. So I'm just going to stick this down. Again, just a little tape. And maybe a little more out this way. And I'll trim off this excess just because it looks cute. And on this one, I think I'll add this shell, and it's kind of at a jaunty angle. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of glue. Again, this is just kind of holding this on. And then I'll trim off those edges too. Oopsie. Oh no, no, no. I don't know how I did that, but I cut my my ATG tape. Did you see that? It'll probably be on the video. Look, it's down there and this part's up here, and it's torn. I'll have to figure that one out because it's a new roll. And then the other piece, like I said, I'm going to cut this off. Sorry I didn't want this video to take that long, but I can feel it's already taking a long time because we still have quite a bit to do. Where's my little extra piece? This piece. Of course, that's when my ATG gives up on me. I don't have time to figure this guy out. I'm gonna have to get something else. I'm gonna use this one, even though this is repositionable. It doesn't really matter. I just need something to hold it. I mean, you can even just place it on your laminate sheet like this and let it go, but this does have a direction, so I want to make sure I have it in the right direction. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of something to hold this. Again, the pen loop. Wherever you want to put it, I kind of put it up in the top kind of area, just making sure it's kind of straight before I really push it down. Okay, and we're going to laminate this whole thing just like this. We're going to laminate this just like this. Whatever extra little bits and doodads you want to laminate. And I think I'm ready for laminating. Okay, so I turned on my little laminator here. She's getting nice and hot. So yeah, I'm gonna laminate this. Just, I don't know why. Why not? Of course, the bookmark. Of course, our dashboard. The cover itself. What I was gonna say, one other thing I was gonna put on here was a little something to stick out the top. But then I thought, you know what? I already put the sticker on here, but you could, or not sticker, but that area. Oopsie. Like I have these love and smile. I thought they'd be really cute. Maybe I'll do it anyway. All right. These are pretty thick already. Like on the other things I did, I only put a sticker. I didn't go back and forth, like put something on the back and something on the front. But just so it kind of sticks out of your book. So I'm gonna put this love on this side, and I put it just like this in my laminating sheet with the sticky side exposed because it's not a big deal. Like this one, I have it ready to go for the other one that I was showing you guys the other day I started, and this is just sticker. It has nothing on the back. And I still have to cut these pieces out. That's why they're still in here. But yeah, so I will put something on the back on this one just because the sticker is a little bit thinner. The other one's more like on thicker cardstock type paper. But we have that one, and then maybe I'll put this on here just to back it up. So we have that. And then today I'll be using these, again, 3mm. I'll have the links for these guys, the fellows. This is exactly what they had at Staples. I can't even believe it, 30 bucks, and they were less than 9, or around 9, should I say, on Amazon. And I usually don't talk about prices like that on Amazon because a lot of times they'll like add 50 cents, they'll take away 80 cents. It's always changing like a little bit here and there, but it's right around 10 bucks. And so they are 9 by 11.5, which is what's typical. Because again, if you have an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, that's giving you a 1/4 inch all around. So I'm going to use 2 of these, and then whatever else you want to laminate, if you can fit it in here, do it. You know what I'm saying? Like on this guy, I'm going to try and max out this space. And that's kind of why I even laminated some of the things before. Like I'm going to put this in here, butt it all the way up to the very edge on the fold. I'm going to bring over, try not to touch it too much on the inside just in case your hands put some oils on this, but let me try to get, oh my gosh, so you guys can see. I'm going to place this over here, kind of towards the edge of that, just so that even if I don't have to trim this, that'd be nice, but I still want to give it plenty of room to seal up. And then like this guy, I'll also put that guy on here wherever I can. And I have room up here for something else. You know, I do have some pieces I was going to do. Maybe I'll laminate them. Why not? Maybe not. Hold on. I mean, swimmer, that's kind of a weird word to laminate now. Tans fade. I don't really have other things. I mean, you can do die cut shapes or whatever it is that you want to put in there. Oh, it's ready. Okay, so this is what this is going to look like as far as that's what I'm laminating on this one. I do have an area. It does bum me out. I would like to put something there. I might change my mind. Maybe I'll end up putting something there. And then our cover. So I will grab this. You can put stickers in there to laminate. Like I said, die cut shape, whatever it is that you want. And this guy kind of goes by himself only because it does take up most of the space, and you are going to push this as far in as you can because we maxed it out right on this edge. Look at it. Woo! So as far in that you can push it in, flatten it out pretty good. I'll move this to the side. I like to do my cover first. I don't know why, but so I discussed in another video about 3mm setting and 5mm setting. This does not have a setting, this machine. But it basically takes things in at 5mm speed. It's just slower. It doesn't mean the rollers open up like it's going to accommodate a thicker pouch, you know. It just goes slower because it needs to that slowness to get all the good adhesive warmed up, right? Because it's a thicker pouch. So 5mm setting on 3mm, especially with something like this, would be great. Just run it through that way so it's nice and slow. And I do feel like I went a little bit crooked. Oh, I hope that doesn't affect anything. Do you see this? Oh, I don't know if you can see it down here. It's a little bit crooked. It might end up not laminating the way I want. Ay, ay, ay. You could also stop it, just so you know. But I'm just going to let it go. I have more of this paper. If it doesn't work out, I'll do it again. Oh, interesting. I feel like they almost like make an adjustment for that. They're like, yeah, it got squished over here. I don't know if you can see down here. Because I put it in too much to the left. And it looks beautiful. Laminating just feels so nice. It looks so cool. So what I was going to say about sometimes when it delaminates, like this one, on the outside, Okay, and it's done. Well, it's almost done. On the very outside, there it goes. Look, no problem. Even though it went through a little bit crooked. Pretty good. It came off like in here somewhere. And I was like, oh no, because you can kind of see like an air bubble under there. And this is before I put the holes or anything. I mean, as soon as it came out, as soon as I creased it, and I was like, ah. And I thought, you know what? Make your holes and then run it through again. So I trimmed it down, I made my holes, because if you try to run it through again and you have that air bubble in there, where's the air gonna go the second time? It might even make it worse, right? It might even open up more. So like for me, putting the holes in it gave it a release for the air to come out, and it laminated perfectly. So I'm like, okay, that worked out. Sorry guys, I have a bunch of stuff everywhere. Okay, so that guy looks pretty good. I think I'll go ahead and run through this guy. And then if I need to, I'll do my creases, and if it looks funky, we'll do it again. Oh my goodness. I have so many papers here. Okay, let's make sure nothing's touching. I'm gonna try to put this in more centered than I did before. That looks good. Okay, I'm just gonna let that run through. And I just kind of hold it because I do have this piece at the very edge of my paper. Look at this. So pretty. So we're going to trim this down in a minute. We'll corner around, and then I'll do our creases, and if it needs to be laminated again, needs to be pushed through again, I'll do that again. I'm just holding this and waiting for a second, guys. Sorry. So very interesting, because I do have 2 layers together, which I didn't do before. It is acting kind of funny. That's kind of why I was afraid of doing 2 layers of paper, to be honest. But I'll run it through again, is basically what I'm going to have to do. So let's do this. Also, if you think about it, there's air in there because of the 2 layers. Ugh. I knew I shouldn't have gone for it. No, I'm just kidding. So all those kind of things, when you add more thickness or more, you know, it makes it more difficult, a little trickier. I had no problems, as you can see. This one over here is just 1 layer. Oh, where'd it go? Anyway, the other sheet that I showed you guys that I still need to cut, everything's perfect. So on this one, I can see that there's a little some funkiness going on. So I'm going to run it through again without even thinking about it. So you see this is pretty good, but this one that has the 2 layers, look at all this air. Not good. Not too good. Okay, so I'm going to let it run through one more time. I'm going to do it backwards this time. In the other direction, because why not? Okay, so I'm going to run it through a second time, and I'll be back. It's almost done. Hopefully we'll have better success. Like, you know, I just want to show you kind of the things you might run into, you know. And again, I just ran it through a second time. Some people would cut it out and then do it again, but I left it in there. I will show you what I did though. I did cut a little bit just so that the air has a space, because I can see right there. It didn't seal up right there. What a bummer. Okay. Okay, I'm not going to turn this off yet because we have things to do. So, I am going to trim this down. This did come with a paper trimmer, but or a trimmer. I'm just going to use my guillotine. And what's funny with the guillotine is that it'll stick to the lamination. I don't know why. So anyway, I'm just eyeballing this, leaving a good amount because you do not want to open up your lamination, right? You know what I'm saying? If you get too close to that little air bubble area, it's going to come open. So I left a good amount of space, like 1/8 of an inch or so. And oopsie, I'm just eyeballing this, but if you want to measure it, you know, you can measure that for sure. I think that's pretty good. I don't think I need to do this one again. How I will know if I do it again is let me do this. I'm just showing you guys everything. I know I'm sure some of the videos might be a little more streamlined, but I just want to show you, like, there's oopsies and there's other issues. I don't really like that double paper, the way that came out. I might just do it again. But, so I like to do that. Maybe even on both sides. Again, just so that we're on the same page. I'm using that blue line because by now it's kind of hard to judge. Now that it's been sealed, you know, it's hard to put this on your board and score at the same area again. So I'm just looking through here. Oopsie. What am I doing? Right here. Right there to right there. Just trying to make sure we have that scored up again nicely. So I'm going to go through and score the same lines again. on either side. And then if when I crease it, it pops open, I will run it through my machine again. That's why I left the machine on. I'm just trying to make sure. It's hard to, the angle I'm at for you guys to film and for me to see is kind of funky. Okay. So now I'm just going to fold it over. Look how easily that folded over because we did those score lines and it did not delaminate. It didn't like pop away. You can tell just by looking at it that if it did it. Of course, if you didn't want to do that middle one, you want a nice straight back, then don't worry about that middle one. But here I go to the next one. And to the next one. And if whenever I do this, like I said, if it delaminates a little bit, I have a machine going, I'll just run it back through and it's no problem. But I do like to put the holes in first, just to give that air somewhere to go. Yeah, no, it looks great. Nothing happened. Like it didn't pop away, so I'm very happy with this. These guys, on the other hand, I'm going to trim them down. So the way I trim these down is like this. I'll just come over here and chop this off. You know, give it some room. And the pieces that, you know, I can do this in the guillotine again, or I just take scissors. So I can just kind of eyeball this and come in here. Actually, it needs to be a little bit closer. Trim that down. You know, trim it down. I'm going to run this one again because I can see that there's an opening there. What a bummer. Again, it's that double paper. Ugh. So anyhow, I'm going to trim it down pretty close all around everything. On this one, I do it pretty much by hand because what I do is I trim this away. And of course, this guy, that's a single piece of paper, had no problem. But you can see that, it looks perfect. What I'm going to do is trim away as much as I can. And I get pretty close. And this one I do it by hand because there's ups and downs on this one. You know what I'm saying? I get pretty close to this little crack here. So funny how that happens because look how perfectly this laminated too. No problem. It's just where it has the double papers. And maybe that's why you also want to use a wet glue, really glue it down and then undo it. But either way, I'm just walking you guys through this. I'll probably redo this one if it doesn't come out this next time. And I'll just do it single-sided because that was not my favorite. Okay, so and I just come around. I'm going to come around here. And I'll carefully go around this little circle area. I'll fix it better in a minute, but I just want to get this cut down so I can run it back through again. That's pretty good. And then I'm going to go ahead and corner around it. And if for some reason my corner rounder doesn't want to cut through, what I will do, actually I can use the one that came with our little machine. It just takes a little bit off that edge. But it's not as deep as my 1/2 inch one, so I think I'm going to go with the 1/2 inch. That's more of a 1/4 inch corner round. If you guys recall, this thing does never want to cut it very well. This poor thing. She's having quite a day, this piece of cardstock here. Okay. So I'm just going to trim around all the little corners. I left this straight because that doesn't bother me. And I'm going to run it through one more time. Okay, let's see how this came out. Much better. Yay, we saved it. Look at that. And that's what I'm saying. Just run it through again. It's not the biggest deal. It's not going to hurt. I mean, this is literally, I mean, perfect. Awesome. I'll have to trim this myself a little bit better. I did not the best job, but that's okay. Pretty happy with this. I think we're okay on the bookmark. I was going to run it back through, but I think when I did it the second time already, it did a good job. So that's done. Okay, so I guess I'll turn this off. And I'll clean up this area. We'll make a pocket, and we'll put everything kind of together, guys. You know, I was just going to show you. On this one, I just left it flat, so I did use my little tool for corner rounding on this one. It just helps take off that little edge, you know, so you don't get cut or hurt. Anyway, so I'll put this to the side for now. I shall put it with the rest of my project over here. This is taking much longer than I thought, so I'm going to divide the videos into two. This will be the laminating and inserts, and then the next video will be the embellishments and pockets and things like that. Stay tuned.